Firesword, Chapter 40, The Outrealms.
You're what?
Yui demanded as she held a clenched note in her hand, while Mataras leaned off the railing of one of Castle Elise's ballistae. Robin and Lucina's wedding had been the previous day, and many of the castle's staff was working tirelessly to clean the remains of the celebration. "What part of 'I'm leaving for a little while' is so hard to understand?" he muttered.
The part that you're leaving?"
Yui said angrily. "Why? Why are you so determined to be alone all the time?"
"I don't want to be alone,"
he snapped, giving her a pause as she hung his head. I don't want to go," he admitted heavily. "For your sake. I couldn't care less for the others, but it does tear my heart to leave you behind. But where I'm going, you can't follow." "Why not?" she asked, her voice a little softer now. "Because there's every chance that I may fail to find what I seek, and if that becomes the case, the consequences of my journey will be dire indeed," he said quietly. "I can't let you come to harm on my behalf any more than I have." "Where could you be going that's so dangerous?" Yui prodded. "A place called the Outrealms," the boy answered. "In my time we heard stories of a land where time and space have no true ties to our world. In these places were said to reside the shades of warriors who have long since perished, fighting endlessly in battles that never resulted in victory or defeat." "Why would anyone go there?" his sister asked. "If they were to be defeated, the legends state that the warrior or warriors who ended the conflict will be granted complete mastery over them," Mataras said. "In essence, whoever can defeat these ghosts will have an army of the greatest villains and heroes across history at their beck and call." "So you plan to go to that world and summon these ghosts to your side?" Yui concluded. "Precisely," the Black Spirit nodded. "Of course, I can't tell anyone else about this, or they suspect something sinister on my part. Even if I could convince them to help me, I can't risk anyone else's life on the chance that I may be wrong, and these apparitions cannot be controlled." "If you go at this alone, and these people are as strong as you claim, even you won't be able to take them on all alone," Yui said worriedly. "I can't let you go on a suicide mission." "It's not suicide," he reassured her. "I fully intend to return, but I also know that no one else would help me." "No one, huh?" said a familiar voice. Both Yui and Mataras turned with surprise to see Kazuto standing with most of the other warriors from Aincrad and Alfheim. Only Asuna was absent, likely due to her pregnancy. "What about your family?" "You're not—" "Cut that crap, Mataras," Kazuto snapped. "Yeah, we obviously don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but my blood runs in your veins, even if I'm not the version that raised you. And something I learned in SAO is that you don't let go of those close to you out of fear for losing them. You hold them near so that your swords can keep them from harm, and so they can help you in return." "Is this supposed to be a moment where we cast aside our differences and hug it out?" Mataras asked with an arched eyebrow. "Because I don't see that happening." "Me neither," Kazuto grinned. "But we've all got the same goal right now. We want to help Crom and the others prevent Grima from coming back, or defeat him if he does. And as you so often observed, we won't be ready for him. Not like this." "If you found a way to even the odds, we want in on it, man," Hagio rumbled. "Ain't no way we're going to let you tackle us on your own." "Look, this is great and all, but what is Crom going to think about it?" Mataras pointed out. "I'm pretty sure he won't be happy to hear that his best fighters are about to head off on some harebrained scheme of a mad child." "I can convince him otherwise," said Robin and Lucina, as he and Lucina walked up from behind.
"Okay, how long has everyone been here?"
Mataras complained. "Since the start," Lucina replied. "Yui had a feeling that you might be up to something when you told her that you wanted to meet up here, alone." He shot a glare at the little girl, who shrugged and said, "It was for your own good."
"What's the point of all this?" he demanded. "I just told Yui I'm not putting anyone besides myself in harm's way. End of discussion."
"No, it's not," Robin all but shouted at him. Everyone looked at him surprised. It was rare to see Robin lose his cool under any circumstance. Now he strode forward and grabbed the Black Spirit by his shirt and said, "You came here to help the shepherds, right? Then that makes you one of us. And since it's my job to keep everyone alive at all costs, I'm not letting you go at this alone." Mataras stared at him with wide eyes for a moment before he stated, "Release me. Now." Robin did so, not out of fear, but knowing that his continuing action would only cause trouble. "You're not going at this alone, kid," he said. "The shepherds look after each other. That's how it's always been, even before I was in the picture. So I'm not about to let some child with a savior complex forsake that rule for the sake of his pride." "Look, this is a nice sentiment and all, but even you can't go against Crom's orders," Mataras growled. "This whole argument is pointless." "Not so," Robin said with a grin. In terms of military matters, Crom, Kirito, and I are actually ranked as equals. According to the laws of the Holodom, if the Exalt, or whoever is acting as the current ruler, makes a decision that does not sit well with the rest of his or her war council, the command may be overturned by a majority vote. Why didn't the military leaders do that during the reign of Exalt Emran? Mataras asked, now more curious than angry. My grandfather's war leaders were killed in the war with Plegia alongside him, Lucina explained. There was no one until the war was officially over with to oppose her decisions. Huh. The boy in black muttered. Turning to Robin, he asked, You're certain of this? What? The voting process or the mission you proposed? Either or, Mataras shrugged. I'm sure, Kazuto said as he clapped his son on the shoulder. And I think I speak for the others here. There are mutterings of general assent from among the shepherds of Alfheim. All right, I'll accept your help on two conditions, Mataras said. One, Kazuto and Asuna cannot come. What? Your wife is about to have a child any day now, Mataras interrupted the other Spriggan. You cannot leave her just as she is. That... All right, he conceded. Fair point. Secondly, Mataras paused, Aiko and Yuki will stay here. Why us? Yuki protested. We've got twin powers. Really? Aiko grinned slightly at her sister. That's your argument? Yuki let out a huff in response as she pouted. I need someone to be here to protect Asuna and Lisa, as well as their children should something go wrong, Mataras said sternly. From what I've seen and heard, you're two of the Shepherd's best and brightest. Ah, well, when you put it that way, I'd be happy to stay behind, Yuki chirped happily. Anything else before we go and upset Crom? Robin inquired. How many shepherds can you afford to send with us? Mataras asked. And before you ask, no, I don't need you to come with us. You just got married. Focus on that. Robin stammered, nonplussed that the boy had figured out his next train of thought. But I'm the tactician. You're a newlywed, for crying out loud. What do you think is more important? Mataras rolled his eyes. I'd like to go with the expedition team, Lucina said. What? Mataras and Robin exclaimed. I've always longed to learn more about the past, especially the great hero king, Marth, she shrugged. What better way to learn that from the man himself? Or rather, his ghost? You really want to spend your first days as a married couple on the battlefield? Mataras asked dryly. Not much different than your mom and me, Kazuto interjected. Just... I give up. Mataras sighed. Do whatever you want. I'm going to pack my things. I'll assemble the shepherds tonight for an emergency session. Then we leave tomorrow morning, Robin said. I've done some research into these Outrealms, but I never thought to see it myself. After the briefing that night, Mataras and Yui approached Robin and Kazuto. How did the meeting with Mr. Crom go, Daddy? Yui asked. It could have gone better, he laughed nervously. Could have gone worse, Robin shrugged. We convinced him to let us go on the expedition rather than hold a vote in public, which would seriously undermine his authority to the public. Mataras mused. So who's volunteering? It looks like everyone wants to go, but I'm going to leave at least half of them behind in case of an emergency, Robin said. You know shepherds. They love a good adventure. How long will we be gone for? Yui asked. That's the tricky part, Robin began, but Kazuto interrupted him. What part of this isn't tricky? He asked. Alright, the trickiest part is telling how much time passes while we're in the Outrealms, Robin said. According to the legends, time moved much, much faster in there. However, seeing as we're going in for who knows how long, it will almost be impossible to tell how far we have to go or how long we will have left to complete our mission. Not to mention, we're supposed to be meeting with Valadar next month to supposedly receive the final gem for the Fire Emblem. Kazuto frowned. Supposedly? Mataras smirked. I don't trust the guy, even if I've never met him. The other man shrugged. Trust me, I don't either. Robin muttered. Still, he's done nothing openly hostile towards Elise yet. Not to mention he funded our campaign against Valm. All the more reason to distrust him, Mataras said. Just because a strange fruit tastes good doesn't mean it's not poisonous. Aye, Robin nodded. We will be on our guard. The next day, everyone that had been selected for the task set out for a forest to the south, where a gateway to the Outrealms was said to lie in wait. They were sent with well wishes from their comrades and with high spirits. They returned 2 weeks later, battered, bloodied, and exhausted. What happened to you guys? Kazuto asked as he watched the soldiers file in while Robin came to speak with him. You all looked like a dragon chewed you up and spit you back out. Might as well have, Robin said, slumped with fatigue. We spent 6 months in the Outrealms. Turns out the legends were right. There were mighty armies in there. Many of them, in fact. Did you manage to recruit them? Kazuto asked. I don't see them anywhere. That's the beauty of it, Robin said in a lowered tone, whispering so that only his comrade could hear. He said, none of this reaches outside anyone of the expedition team other than you. Not even Crom knows about this. Why not? The black swordsman whispered back. Too many unfriendly ears in the city, possibly even in the courts, Robin warned him. We can't risk that a spy eavesdrops on us. The men that went on this all swore an oath to silence until we unveil our new army. For the time being, we will maintain the appearance of a complete defeat. Where is it, though? Kazuto asked. In my pocket, Robin grinned. What? They're literally my ace cards, Robin chuckled. The shades. They turn into these cards called Einherjar when they are felled in combat. The more we conquered, the mightier an army we could summon forth. Well, how big are we talking now? Kazuto asked, making sure to keep his voice low despite his excitement. Thousands, Robin murmured, all of them undead and completely loyal to us. Pulling back, he said in a normal voice, Don't worry, Kirito, your son is safe. He turned around and indicated the boy who was helping stall along with a slashed leg. He was quite the hero in there, whether he wants to take credit for it or not. Saved all of us at least one time or another. He did? Kazuto asked, surprised. I thought he couldn't care less about any of us, right? Maybe that was true 6 months ago. He's changed a bit. Robin shrugged. He's still very aggressive and relentless in the battle, but... well, he's withdrawn, but... I mean, he's your son after all. Yeah, Kazuto nodded. Yeah, he is. How are things here? Robin asked his comrade. Pretty quiet. Unless you go near the nursery. Kazuto grinned. Robin jerked up with surprise and said, Did Asuna and Lisa? The young man nodded. She decided to call him Odin this time around. And your child, is it? He's a boy. Kazuto nodded. Looks like his mom, but with my colors. Just like someone else we know. Congratulations, Robin said excitedly as he embraced his friend. That's momentous news. As he released the other man, he asked, What did you name him? Kazuto grinned mischievously. Only one way to find out. What do you... Hey! Mako! Kazuto shouted. Robin looked over to see Mataras stop and look back with surprise on his face. Then, recognizing who had called him, he gave a feral grin and nodded once.